Welcome to Amud Yomi Shiur. Before we start the show, I want to remind everybody that we have a siyum next week here in Avas Shalom, Nachal Lachish 33, and the siyum will be on Thursday, meaning a week from today. A week from today, next Thursday, we're going to have the siyum Be'ezos Hashem. The siyum will be here at 1:45 because that's a safe time after Mincha. 1:45, there will be a fleshik siyum, very nicely arranged by Ellen. Whoever wants to come to the siyum should please let us know. You know who we are. And Tzlacha Vracha, please all be here. It's a choshev masechta. Let's celebrate the siyum. You deserve it. You worked hard. Amar v'yado amarav. Yeah. Amar v'yado amarav. Lo yishna ela ba'ir. Yeah. What's lo yishna ela ba'ir? We're talking here about Yichud. Yichud, Yichud, Yichud. Yichud means, we know what Yichud is. What's Yichud? A man and a woman should not be together in a room or in any secluded area in which they can come to sin undisturbed. And now Rav Yehuda Marav says as follows: Lo yishna ela ba'ir, which means, when did we say that one woman may have yichud with two kosher men? That's only in town. They are together in a room, they're together in an office building, so v'chule v'chule. If they're in town, one woman with two kosher men mean men that are dignified and keep halacha properly, and they don't have any, bad rumors about them. Such people, she, the woman, and them can be misyached because we rely on the men that one man would feel ashamed of his friend, embarrassed of his friend to sin with a woman in front of his friend. Okay? Oh, thank you. Thank you. So then, okay, aval baderech, but if they are walking on their way, they're traveling out of town, then achu shloisha. Then it's not enough to have two men, you need three men. Why? Shema yitztarech echad mem lahashtin. Maybe one of them will have to go and do what he has to do. He'll have to go for ktanim, to urinate. And as we men go, it'll be misrachik because of tznias, Rashi says. He's not going to do it right there. He's going to go, like behind the trees, yeah. V'nimtza echad misyachid im ha'elva. Comes out, the one guy will be alone with a woman. And as Shlomo said yesterday, it doesn't take a long time to do the ktanim. But even then, there could be enough time for them to do whatever they want to do. And therefore, that's a chashash. So you have to always have three men, that even if one goes, then two stay. I guess we're not concerned of two people going. Yeah, I mean, that they can arrange, I'll go to toilet after you, right? So that's, I assume, not a chashash. Nema Mesayale. Let's now try and bring a proof, a help, something to endorse what Rav Yehuda Marav said. And this is again about Soito. What did we learn yesterday about Soito? When the Soito, who's assumed to have done the worst, we take her husband takes her to Yerushalayim. Husband takes her to Yerushalayim, to Beis HaMikdash, and on their way, they're not allowed to be alone together because maybe he'll have relations with her. If he has relations with her, there are two bad things. First of all, that he's not allowed to do it. They're not allowed to be together, because if she's assumed to be a zoino, then a husband cannot have relations with her. Okay? And also, secondly, we know that if he had relations with her, then the water is not going to check her. And then says Rashi, what's going to happen? The Megillah, the Kohen writes the Megillah with the name of Hashem. You erase the name of Hashem by putting it in the water, and you only do that kivyochol horrible thing of erasing the name of Hashem in order to check the situation of the Saito. But otherwise, it's not a check, it's not a checkup, it's not an investigation you do for nothing. Lahavdil. Let's say somebody has a very, very expensive test, lahavdil. Right, in the kupa, very, very expensive test. So the doctor says, we only do these tests when we really, really have to, right? Something very hard, very difficult. Same thing over here. You don't just erase the name of Hashem for no reason. And if the husband and the wife are together, then this checkup will be for nothing, erasing the name of Hashem without even achieving any results. And therefore, what do we do there? We give the husband two Talmidei Chachomim to walk with him, and his wife to travel with the wife, with the soito and the husband. Why? As we said, Shema Yoveleh Baderech. So you see that we're concerned he may have relations with her on the way, right? When he has two people there, then he'll feel ashamed and not do that with their knowledge. Trei ve'ihu. Now the Gemara adds its own words. Today, two ve'ihu, two and him, two men and him, the husband. Hatlas, so 2 and 1 is 3. Oh, why do we need 3? Why isn't it enough to have one Talmid Chacham? We said they have to be Talmid Chachamim to give him a sro, right? To warn him. Fine. Have the husband and one Talmid Chacham, right? Finished. And that's it. So why isn't it enough to have two? Aha! You see, Rav Yehuda Marav was right that you always have to have 3 people. And by the way, it's really funny because, as I said, to let the cat look after the cream. In other words, none of those men are allowed to, even the Talmid Chachamim, are not allowed to be with her in the room alone either. Right? All these people are only reliable in the presence of other people. Right? But you still have to have 3 people, not 2. Why? Well, I guess Rav Yehuda Marav is right. That if one of the Talmid Chachamim or the husband goes to toilet, they're in the hotel, he goes to toilets, taking his time. Meanwhile, she's now, if you only had one Talmid Chacham and one husband, there's only one, and one Talmid Chacham, one of them goes to toilet, the other one stays and has a party. So you see, Rav Yehuda Marav was right. Yeah, you need 2 plus 1. And says the Gemara, no, Hossam over there, sahadi, no. The reason why we need 2 Talmid Chachamim is not necessarily because of this going to toilet business and staying with one guy. It could be a completely different reason, because we need 2 Talmid Chachamim to be able to give edus. They're going to go to Yerushalayim, and the husband will say, yeah, I want my wife to be check this piece of let's check her with the water. And then the Talmid Chachamim will say, no, we are Adim, we are 2 Adim that can attest and testify you had beer with her. Says Rashi, Veloyimchu alea Megillah. No base, no Cohen, Mr. Cohen. Don't start the process and don't write the Megillah and erase it. Because why? Because we are made as 2 Adim that there was beer over here. Therefore, therefore that checkup is not going to work. But if there was only 1 aid, that's not enough. As we all know, 1 aid in halacha is very, very limited. That's why we have to have 2 people in order to serve as 2 Adim. That's why. By the way, we did not reject Rav Yehuda Marav. And by the way, as far as I know, that's halacha. We only rejected the proofs of Rav Yehuda Marav. Yeah, at the moment, we didn't manage to prove Rav Yehuda Marav right, but we didn't prove him wrong either. Okay? That's the story. And as far as I know, la halacha, that is the way. Again, it's not halacha shiur. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to go over the halachas. I had a busy day today. I didn't look up Shulchan Aruch. I hope to do it today. But as far as I remember, if your wife, these things, it doesn't matter, by the way, how old the people are. Yichud applies with a person who could be 99 years old. I'm not joking. Yeah, and your wife, your mother, if they travel on the way in a lonely road and there's 1, 2 people, it's not enough. You have to have 3 people. Again, ask your rabbi. But as far as we see here, that's halacha. Story time. Story lahalocha. Hi, shalom. We are Daf Pei Aleph Amud Aleph. We are in the, which line are we? You'll figure it out. About 6 or 7 lines from the top of the page. Kiddushin Pei Aleph Amud Aleph. Rav Rav Yehuda. Rav and Rav Yehuda. What was the relationship between Rav and Rav Yehuda? Anybody? Rav and Talmid. Rav Yehuda was the Talmid of Rav at some point in his life. Rav and Rav Yehuda avakazli be'ucha. They were walking on the way. They were traveling, walking. Havakazla hi'itza kamayu. There was this woman that was walking in front of them, like very close to them. So they were all of a sudden in a situation of Yichud. Yes, as I told you, you can be in a forest. Yeah, you can be in a lonely place, not in a closed place. That could be. Imagine yourself, you're going to a tiyul with your friend. You're a very kosher guy. You and your friend are going to a tiyul, okay, in a lonely place, not trying to do anything bad. And there's a woman there. And she's all of a sudden walking with you. You find yourself alone with her, the 2 of you with her. How nice, or maybe not so nice. Oh, so then what did they do? Omar le Rav Yehuda. Rav told Rav Yehuda, Dal karech, pick up your feet, meaning start walking fast. Mikami Gehenim. Wow. In front of the Gehenim. In other words, you should take over. Let's walk quickly to take over the Gehenim. In other words, we may come to sin, and that leads to one place, very hot place. Amar le, wait. He asked him, why? Why are you concerned? But you said that by ksherim, it's okay, right? If we are 2 kosher people, and 2 kosher people is fine, then what's the problem? You and I are ksherim, so why is there a concern? Now, if it was a lonely place, very lonely, like what, like walking in the derech, that could be an issue. I guess there wasn't such a derech. It was, close to town. They could go to toilet normally. But lemaisa, if two of us are ksherim, one woman, what's the problem? Omer lei, so he told him, Mi yema de beksherim kigon ano ve'at. How do you know that ksherim are like you and me? Yeah, maybe we're not kosher enough. Wow, that's a very interesting idea. There are two of my roim, Rav Tanu Polig. He says, I don't rely on that. Yeah, maybe we're not kosher enough. Ela kigon mai. So who are ksherim if not us? Kigon Rabbi Chanina bar Papi v'chaveirov. The Gemara says Rabbi Chanina bar Papi in Daf Mem Amud Aleph. There are all these stories of tremendous mysterious nefesh of Rav Papi. For example, there was a case of Rav Tzadok Rav Papi. I'm reading here. There was this woman. Yeah, I'm reading now from Daf Pei Amud Aleph. The high darga of Rav Papi. There was this woman who really wanted him to sin with her, and I guess she was attractive. It was a havamina to sin. And what did he do? He basically did something. He davened to Hashem. He said something holy, and his body became full of sores and disgusting things. Yeah, and then she she did something to outdo that. Yeah. In other words, the Kitzer, there was a whole give and take. He did tremendous mysterious nefesh in order not to sin. Another story there is Rab Tzadok. Rab Tzadok basically went into the fire, into an oven, not to sin with a woman. He went into an oven. Kshbochu did a nace that the oven didn't burn him. Rav Kahana, what did Rav Kahana do in order to not sin with a woman? He jumped off the roof. Ad kedekach, he would commit suicide. Eliono became Superman style, lahavdil, and collected him from the air in the middle of there. Whoop! And Eleonovi said, "Why are you matriach me to come from so far?" Rav Kana said, "Because I'm poor. Yeah, it's all because of money." Bekitzer Amaisa, these Amoraim were tremendous moisri nefesh, and basically these Amoraim say, Rav and Rav Yehuda, we don't know if we are kosher enough to be considered as ksherim. This is a very inspirational story. Again, as far as I know, La halacha, two people that are known to be kosher, it's good enough, even if they're not tremendous moisri nefesh, as long as the person is clean. As far as today, it's hard to know actually. As long as the person is properly shomer mitzvahs and guards his eyes, he's not exposed to all kinds of bad things, and he's the person who wouldn't have relations with another woman in front of another man. That's most normal people. So that is assumed to be okay. Again, it's not halacha shiur, just giving you guidelines. Weiter. Omar Rav. Yeah. Oh, here comes very, very interesting lochas. And before we continue and give you a very, very important introduction. Yeah. Why? What's the source for the Isser of Yichud? Well, we saw Yichud, the source is in the Torah, very unclearly written, but Chazal have the clear Masorah. The Torah gave us an illusion, a hint for Yichud Midoraisa. So Bepashtis, it's an Issa Doraisa, because it says, yeah, your brother from your mother, which means the mother and the son, they can live together, and not you and another woman shouldn't be alone, together. Now, that's Doraisa. Midoraisa, the Issa of Eshet Ish only applies under two conditions, Eshet Ish and obviously Jewish. Yeah, Jewish Eshet Ish, that applies Midoraisa. After the very tragic story of the rape of his own daughter, whose daughter was raped in the Bible? Tamar. How do you say Tamar in English? I don't know. Tamar? I thought English should be Tamaridin or something. Bekitzer, Amnon raped his sister Tamar, unfortunately, and then David made the gezerah that a Penuya, an unmarried girl, should also not have Yichud. So Midorabanon, from David HaMelech, a Penuya, an unmarried girl, also is Osir. But they're Jewish. What about a goite? Yeah, you can have yichud with a goite. Now, what about the Chashmonoim? In the times of the Beis Din of Chashmonoim, yeah, in the times of Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai, or Chashmonoim, it's a question exactly when it started. There's a Gemara in Shabbos, there's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Daf Lamed Vav Amud Beis, the Kitzer, but Lamais, at the end of the day, they, in the times of the Mishnah, they made the Gezerah Midorabanon on the Goyet and Evedes Kachovim. Yeah, one should not have yichud with Miss Mackenzie or Mrs. Mackenzie. Same thing, doesn't matter la halacha. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's all osir, married or not, Jewish or not. But you have to know that the level of Isser of an Eshet Ish is worse, Jewish Eshet Ish, and that's the Oraisa. What do you do to a person who breaks an Isser Oraisa by default, unless known otherwise? What's the punishment given to a person who's over Isser Oraisa, man or woman? What's the default? You have to get ready for the next Masechta, Rabbi Sai. What do you think we'll do after Kiddushin? Go to the beach? No. Course is only on 30-16. Malkot, good. Malchus, bam, 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 39, boom, boom, on the back, on the stomach. Yeah. Bekitzer, that's the Malchus. Malchus Amdoraisa. Midarabonon, you get Malchus Mardus. It's a different way of Malchus. If you offer the Rabbanon, you get different types of Malchus, a whole different concept, which we're not going into right now. You also get Malchus, but different. Amarav, having said that, Amarav, Malkin al Yichud, if a person is imsiached with a woman, we're not saying right now what kind of woman, Malkin al Yichud, you have to give him Malchus, him and her, both partners. Yeah, in those sins, it's always both sides, both genders. You give Malchus al Yichud. Rashi says Mardus. Give Malchus midarabonon. And the question is why? You give Malchus. You see a boy and a girl, right? We're not talking I'm married or not married. I'm on purpose not telling you. Yeah, a boy and a girl went to the room. Hey, if you do that, you get Malchus. And they said, we don't care. We're going to the room alone. We're just going to discuss the soccer teams. Yeah, you get Malchus. The ein oisrin ala yichud. What does mean in oisrin ala yichud? That's renogel alocha. An eshes ish had yichud with a man. She's not becoming osir al baila. A woman had yichud with a colleague at work. Okay, she's not becoming osir on her husband. So what about soita? Question. I'm asking you, soita. Oh, Peretz is the star of the show today. Not only today, very nice. When there was kinui, the warning from the husband, and there were edim, v'chule in the process, then she becomes also on her husband. Mashenken, if she was misyached in the room alone with another man without being pre-warned by the husband, then she does become a surah al-baila. Even if other people warned her, but not the husband, she's not also on her husband. That's why today many people don't keep yichud. Every chiloni woman, even traditional, they don't know. Yeah, she stops. She closes herself in the room because she talks to her co-worker. Yeah, she's not becoming osir al baila. That's aloha. Now, Omar Ravashi comes Ravashi and says as follows. Here we're going to see the difference between married and non-married. Lo yamon el beyichud pnuya. It's only true that we give malchus miderabanon on the pnuya. What's a pnuya? An unmarried girl and a man, if they're together in the room, you do give the malchus because we're over derabanon. Aval beyichud eshes ish loy. An eshes ish which is over the oraisa, you don't give her the woman. You don't give her malchus. Why? It's a worse sin. You know why? That's the reason. In other words, if people hear that Ashes Ish, a known married woman in the community, known as married and is married, and when Beis Din gives Malchus, that's big news. All the Yachni and tap into them WhatsApp. Yeah, they're all going to know that that lady, Sprintabela, that she got what? Malchus, because she had Yichud. She had Yichud with a man. I'm sure children are mamzairim. People always extrapolate and exaggerate. And at some point, people would think, if she's for sure Mesiachet, Beis Din don't give Malchus just because of rumors. We know that there was Yichud. If there was Yichud, do you know that a few months later she had a baby? Therefore, we never want to have la'az, to have bad, we don't know with bad mouth or children. People should be kosher because Lamaisa, we don't know if she did anything bad, right? And we don't assume our kids to be mamzerim. We don't want the bad tongues to create a situation of laz on our children. However, there was another opinion. You get the story here? So Pnuya, although her Isser is not as severe, Rabbanon give her Malchus. She was already Isser the Rabbanon, Malchus Maldus. And Eshes Ish deserves Malchus, but we don't give her Malchus because maybe that would be interpreted as her being a real Zoino and the children of Zerim. And we don't want to disqualify poor children who the mother happened to have Yichud from getting married. Malzutra, however, had a solution. Malzutra had like a middle of the road solution. And he said, Malki umachriz. On one hand, he would give Malchus to the woman, but he would do machriz, he would announce, he would say, hey, everybody should know that she was only misyached without znus. Yeah, he would take care of business. On one hand, he would give Malchus, and at the same time, He would put up notices, pachkevilim, WhatsApp groups, internet sites, news outlets. He would tell everybody that woman is not Zoina. No, don't think that way. She's only misyachedes, and don't look at her children badly. Omer Rav Nachman Miparhatia. As a result of that, Rav Nachman Miparhatia told Rav Ashi. Rav Nachman from Parhatia asked Rav Ashi, or Rav Ashi is the one who said, "Don't give her malchus." He said, "Why? Mar nami lilki v'lichriz." Why are you, Rav Ashi, so extreme not to give her malchus? Because people would assume the worst. Look at what your colleague did. What did Marzuto do? He gave malchus and he announced, right? Why don't you do the same? Omer Lei, he said, I don't believe in that solution. I'll tell you why. Bad news travel fast. Good news travel slow. There's such a saying, right? So therefore, some people would only hear about the malchus, and they would not hear about the announcement that she didn't really sin. That's the idea. Get it? In other words, some people get the malchus story because that's very juicy and interesting, but the Beis Din announcement, that boring black and white pachkevil, they wouldn't really hear. No, they wouldn't hear of the fact that she's not a zoino. So because I'm concerned of that, I don't give her any malchus b'chlal. Amarav, now continues more and more, and this is interesting. Yeah, it's in the Rambam. Amarav, malkin al loy toivo hashmua. Let's say there's a person, let's say there's a person, Shulchan says it. Let's say there's a person who it's a man, and there's very bad rumors about that man. Yeah, in other words, we're talking here about a man who doesn't have enemies, as far as we know. There are no known enemies to him, okay? And a lot of people are saying at least a day and a half, if not more people constantly always talk and always aware and concerned that this man has too many funny businesses and monkey businesses with women. That man, there's strong rumors that there's stuff going on between him and one woman or a few women. They don't say that about anybody else. And we checked and saw that there's nobody has self-interest here. There are no enemies, business competitors or those who try to, badmouth him, to dig dirt. So why is the shmur there? So halacha does believe in the old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And therefore, ad kedei kach, he even gets malchus. If you got to the stage where nobody else in your community, you're the one that everybody talks, it could be also a few people like that, yeah? But you are highly suspected of having such a situation, that is something that you deserve malchus, to give malchus to that man. Wow, ad kedei kach. Yoitze koil, that he's over avera, and the coil is strong and goes for at least a day and a half, if not more, then you give malchus. Shenemal, it says in Eli, yeah, Eli, Eli was, we saw Eli was the Kohen in Mishkan Shiloi, and Eli's sons, Chofni and Pinchas, they had funny businesses, maybe only Chofni, not Pinchas. The Gemara in Daf Nun Hey in Shabbos talks about it. Yeah, basically, one or two of his children, they had bad business with women. They were suspected of, people were saying that they were starting, excuse my language, with Ashes Ish, with many married women that came to Beis HaMikdash. By the way, the Gemara in Shabbos says that according to some opinions, they didn't really sleep with them. They just made them wait in the Beis HaMikdash for a long time and postponing their arrival back home to their husbands. The women were in the Mishkan for too long and couldn't go back with the kinim after birth. Very nice. And that's why it's as if they had relations with them. Alamaisa, what is Eli's, when Eli finally approaches his children, he has the father-son talk, see me in my office kind of talk. What did Eli tell them when he saw them in the office? He said, listen carefully, al bonai, no my children, kiloi tova hashmua. What does it mean, al bonai? The word al always means like elav, a prohibition. What's the prohibition? He didn't say you had relations with women. He said loy tova hashmua, which means the bad rumor is there. Also not in Hebrew. What's shmua in Hebrew? Rumor. Yeah, the rumor is bad, and that itself is the love. Loy bonai al bonai loy tova hashmua. You're breaking a love by the fact that there's such bad tongues talking about you. Get the story? I don't know if he really had intimacy with women, says Ailey, but the mere fact that too many people are saying too many things, that is an al. And as I told you, as we said, Shlomo and Peretz were saying, whenever you have a lav, the lav automatically means malchus. Therefore, such people who have too many bad rumors about them, it's getting too much, then you have a situation of malchus. You have an oynish malchus. I don't know if they actually got flogged or not. It's a good question. If that was done proper, I don't know. L'chor they should have. I don't know. And again, I hear it's a nice idea. Again, according to one opinion, only Pinchas, only Chofni was the sinner, and Pinchas wasn't. Pinchas was as guilty because he did not rebuke his brother Chofni. Chofni was the field player. Chofni was the cool guy in town with all the women, and Pinchas was a good boy, and Pinchas was the father of a Choshev dynasty. It's not Pinchas from the Torah. It's a different Pinchas, just to get that clear. Yeah, it's Pinchas many, many years later. But because Pinchas was too politically correct, he didn't rebuke his brother. He was as guilty as his brother. He was a silent partner for the immorality. Were they actually flogged? Good question. According to this, one of them should have been. I don't know. I don't remember learning this in Shabbos, but it's an interesting point. It's a good question. I don't know. Okay. Straw. Oh, I don't know if there is a straw, because how can you give a straw before a bad rumor? You can't plan that in advance. So maybe it develops. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking now, though I didn't see it in Shulchan Aruch yesterday. I mean, a social Shulchan Aruch. Maybe, and maybe if there's a rumor once, maybe, this is a very big maybe. Let's say if I was a Dayan, I would say, yeah, if we hear such rumors once more, then you'll get Malchus. That could be a very good idea. Yeah. We're hearing too many rumors about you, Mr. Whatever, Don Juan. And what? And now, next time we're going to hear such rumors, I'm warning you now that if we're going to hear bad rumors, then you're going to get the Malchus. That's good. Yeah. Although Hasra has to be right before the Maisa, and it's not before the Maisa, maybe that's the way to do it. That's a big maybe. I'm just speculating over here. Yes. By scholars. Hashem. Continues the Gemara. Malzutra moisiv le'afsaro al katfei. Wow. Malzutra, when he would give the malchus for the person who had bad rumors, he would place an afsar, which is the animal's like a muzzle, or the afsar is one of the things that the animal wears on its face. Yeah, one of these, the bit, one of those things. Yeah, he would wear it on. He would put it on his shoulders, maybe to show behaving like an animal. And as he would give him the malchus, he would say al bonai. The posuk that he would call out as he would give malchus to the guy, he would say al bonai. Yeah, and yeah, there was the malchus. He would remind him, we're getting the malchus because you have bad rumors as much as Chofni and Pinchas had. Amar Rabba, back to Yichud. Oh, this is very nogel halacha. Amar Rabba, this is a very famous kula which sometimes can be used, sometimes cannot. Baila ba'ir. Welcome to Baila ba'ir. Baila ba'ir ein choshishin mishum yichud. What does that mean? If the woman's husband is in town, then we're not concerned because of yichud. Oh, what does that mean? So, let's say the husband is in town, and the husband can come any minute. Yeah, a woman. This is very, very super nagel halacha. 10 o'clock in the morning, Mr. Plumber, Mr. Electrician, not both together, either one or the other. They come to the house of Mrs. XYZ 11OP. So Mrs. XYZ can she be in the house alone, closed door with Mr. Electrician? Oh, black keep on his head. He's a kosher guy. But he's only one guy. Nobody's kosher when it's just him and her. It doesn't have to be kosher. Can they close the door and he's going to do his plumbing? Or maybe he'll do something else? Well, no. Normally, no. That's Yichud. Your wife has to keep the door open. It's not enough to be unlocked. It has to be open. You should know that. When a Baal Malacha comes, the door has to be significantly, visibly open, right? Then what? But if her husband is in town, her husband is in Koilel, is in Amud Yomi Shiur, the husband is at work, the husband is in his high-tech office in town, even in a different neighborhood, according to most opinions. They live in Rama Aleph, and the office is near Big. Okay, fine. Good, I don't know, 50 minutes drive or so. Then what? It's okay. We all think, what's the halacha? that it's okay to have Yichud. Okay, that's what some opinions say. Rashi says otherwise. Rashi says lehalkois. Rashi says it's not permitted, but if there was Yichud between the plumber and the woman, and the husband was in town, lechatchila, it's not allowed. She should keep the door open even if her husband is in town. However, if there was Yichud, we don't give them malchus. Why? Because we assume that the man and her are scared he may surprise them. He has the key. He's the man of the house. He may come any minute. You know, sometimes people come in the middle of work. Oh, darling, I had fever. The boss annoyed me. I have something to do at home, or just came to say hello. Yeah, she and the plumber are scared that maybe the guy's going to come, the husband. But it's not enough, according to Rashi, to say that it's okay to have yichud. It's only okay bedi'evid, a posteriori, to say that if there was yichud, they don't get malchus. By the way, that's not the halacha, but that's what Rashi says. We're going to go through a process now, and then you can ask your questions. Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef now, Pesach, another kula, another way, another leniency. Pesach pasuch l'rshus harabim, ein choshesh mishum yichud. Oh, as we said, if the door is open, there's at least one outlet, one door, one window, or big window open to rshus harabim. People from the outside can see what's going on inside. You have a big window, and Israeli style, no curtains, right? No shutters, no trisim that they can close. It's open, so people, the yachnei in the street can peek in here and there. Then there's no chashash of yichud. By the way, we're not yet done with Baila Ba'ir. We're going to go back there. Now comes a very significant story in these halachas. Rav Beivai, story time, a real story. Rav Beivai ikla lebei Rav Yosef. Rav Beivai went to the house of Rav Yosef to be hosted by Rav Yosef. The three protagonists in the story are three people. Rav Beivai, the guest, Rav Yosef, and Rebbetzin of Rav Yosef. Okay, three people. The guest, husband, and wife. The guest is Rav Beivai. Husband, host, Rav Yosef. Hostess, Mrs. Rav Yosef. Okay, these are the people. So he came to their house. Okay, very nice. Bosel the korach rifta. After they had supper, they had the supper, the meal, the bread. Then what did they do? Omar lehu, Rav Yosef told the people, Shkuli darga mituse bevai. Remove the letter from under Beivai, our guest Beivai, which means all of them had supper together, right? Then Rav Yosef and his wife went down, and the one who stayed in the attic in the second floor, and they had between the second floor and the first floor, back then, not like today's houses, they had letters which were movable. You see this story appearing once, time and again. I was once in a Zimmer like that, That's the first floor, second floor. They didn't have big houses. And between the first and second floor, you have a ladder. So now Rabbi Yosef says, please remove the ladder, basically the mode of transportation between the first floor and the upper floor, right? Remove that from under his feet because of Yichud. In other words, we don't want him to go down and have Yichud with a woman, right? With my wife. Okay, very good. This way, he's killed in a different house. There's no access. Because if there is a ladder, if there are steps, he may go down. Remove the steps, remove those mobile steps, and this way, him and us are killed in two different houses. Frag the Gemara, why? Why is that a concern? But Rabbi says, Baila Ba'ir, en choshishin mishum yichud. What's the problem? Why is Rav Yosef concerned? Even if Rav Yosef is leaving and going nearby, Baila Ba'ir, there's no yichud. Right? If Rav Yosef is still in town, Rav Yosef didn't go to Acapulco. Rav Yosef went to Bas Medrash. He went outside to toilet. So what's the big concern of Rav Yosef? If Baila Ba'ir, Rav Yosef, there's no concern of Yichud. So why is he saying to remove the letter from under his feet? Answers the Gemara, another important halachic detail. Shani Rav Beivai, the Shushvinte Havoi, the Gaisa Bey. Says Rashi, Rav Beivai and Mrs. Rav Yosef, she was a shushvinte, says Rashi, balas brisloi. They had some kind of, from the past, that friendly relationship, not chas v'sholom as an eshes ish. Halacha Gai Sabei, he feels friendly with her, which means, it says in halacha, that if the woman that you have yichud with is somebody you grew up with, in today's world, let's say your cousin, let's say went to co-ed school and now you became a trummer, You went to a co-ed high school, and she wasn't your girlfriend. Stop. She's a buddy. You knew her as a person, as a girl. You said hi, how are you? You played soccer together. You were like, friendly. You know her. Such a woman, there's more danger. Yeah, you feel closer to her, and you can come to be intimate with her closely. You have less inhibitions. What's Gaisabe? No inhibitions, not as many inhibitions. She's a friend from then. Hi, how are you? And therefore, in such a situation, Baila Ba'ir does not help. That's all of it. Yeah, Baila Ba'ir doesn't help. If the woman and the plumber in our story are cousins, yeah, or they both grew up in a small town community in Puchka Puchka, Idaho. They both know each other from the past. Then Baila Ba'ir does not help, and they cannot have Yichud Bichlal. Now, Toyses asks the question on Rashi. I don't know if you followed it, but something in the narrative doesn't work right. What did we say? I want you to realize yourselves. Toyses' question. You should come up with it. What did Rashi say? What's the kula of Baila Ba'ir according to Rashi? The kula of Baila Ba'ir is, yes, that's the reason. True, because of here Rashi says mistape. But what's the halacha according to Rashi? The difference whether Baila Ba'ir or not Baila Ba'ir? According to Rashi, it's also to have yichud if Baila Ba'ir, but if they had yichud, but the eved, they don't get malchus. Toyses asks on Rashi a very strong question. Rashi, l'chor the Gemara is not saying like Rashi, because in the story of Rav Yosef, what did we say? The Gemara is asking Rav Yosef, Rav Yosef, why are you so machmir? Why are you removing the letter Baila Ba'ir? But according to Rashi, of course Rav Yosef had to remove the letter, because Baila Ba'ir does mean it's permitted, means that but the eved you don't give malchus. Rav Yosef, even if he's going out and about his business, yes, the yichud is still author. There are answers to this Rashi, but Toysis, because of that, and other Rishonim argue with Rashi, and they're more Meiko, and they say Baila Ba'ir means she's allowed to have yichud if her husband is in town. It's not only b'diavad, it's also the chatchila. So if the wife, so now again, it's not a halacha shiur, but these are the guidelines. Your wife wants to I'm talking like an Israeli, Hazmin. It's not inviting the plumber. She's calling the plumber to fix the toilet. It's urgent, and she has to have it right now, and her husband is not home. So if her husband, they live in Bet Shemesh. If the husband is in Bet Shemesh, no problem. She can call the plumber unless she's friendly with the plumber from the past. It's her cousin or someone, then it's not allowed, right? If her husband is out of town, her husband is could be even in Sorah. Once it's not called the same city, yeah, once he's in Beitar, let's say, not so far either, but still different town, then she has to leave the door properly open. Yeah, whatever the case may be. That's in general the guideline. Okay, based absolutely on this Gemara. More on the same. Amar of Kahana. Let's refresh our memories. Here we're going to have to see Rashi, I think. Let's refresh our memories about numbers and genders. This is the male side, and this is the female. One man, this is a quiz, this is a test, end of year test. One man with two women, kosher man and two kosher women, very Hasidic. One man, two women, yes or no? No, why? True, why? Two women are easily seduced and very sisterly. They know how to keep secrets better, and they'll have their own little secret. Nobody would have to know. They would defend each other, won't be ashamed of each other. Okay? One man, two women, not allowed, right? Even more than two, possibly not allowed. Yeah? Two men, one woman, two kosher, very religious men and one woman. Yes or no? Yes, allowed. Very good. Why? Men would, I'm a Balgaiva. That guy will see me sitting with a woman. Me and the woman alone, Yetzirah would take over. The other guy should see me, the choshuv guy. Each man thinks it's choshuv. They'll feel ashamed to do that, and also tell on each other. V'chule, men are not so good with secrets. So therefore, two men and one woman, yeah, is allowed. True. What about two men, no kippah and no, not much morality? No, not allowed. Very nice. Oh, that's all we have to know for now. What about the following case? By the way, when I was learning the Gemara yesterday, I thought that is so nogea to today's world. As we know, that's a very, very big problem in the Western world today. At work, people get very friendly. Men, women sit together in the same desk, same office, same project. It happens in the frum places also, sadly. And they get overly friendly. Yeah, it's a big, big, big problem today. It's one of the main problems today besides the internet. Yeah, I wish. Because we're online, I won't tell you horror stories which I heard from relatives of mine. But Taxi drivers may have a lot of problems when I think of it. If you have a woman in the middle of the night and you have to take her to a place that's out of town, it's not so simple at all. You don't take the call. I'm saying it's a lot of shilas. Let's say now you have two offices. Listen to the following story. I'm preparing you for the Gemara. Be'ezras Hashem. Hashem should help us. Now, let's say you have an office building, an office, okay? There are two offices, one attached to the other, and there's an inner office. Soon I'll tell you what I mean. There's an office on the ground floor, From this office, you go to the outside world, it's ground floor office, okay? You have an inner room and an outer room, meaning outer room means the one that's open to Reshus Harabim, and the inner office is not open to anywhere in the world except for that outside office. Inner office, outer office, the outside world. Very simple. Oh, that's very good. Right, that's a good idea. Right, you have one inner office, you have the reception room, which is more on the outside, and then you have the big wide world. Very nice. And this is a frum office, and I'm not joking. I've been to an office once, to the offices when I gave a shiur, to the offices of a very major kiruv organization in Israel, and they did it very nicely. They have a section for men and section for women, workers. Yeah, you have a few offices where all the men work and a few offices where the women work. They can interact when they have to, but when a woman is in the man's area, she feels a bit out of place. She only hands the paper, does what she needs, and goes back to the women's area. That's the way it should be done. It's a very cherished organization. Very nice. So now let's imagine that the inner area is occupied by men workers, and the outer area is only for women, and then you have the door open to the Ganzevel, to the outside, or vice versa. That's the picture we have to have in our mind. Here comes fun. Amar Rav Kahana, says Rav Kahana, Anoshimi b'chutz, if the men, the male people, the men are in the outer room, the noshim mibefnim, and women are in the inside, ein choshishin mishum yichud. We're not concerned because of yichud. Soon we'll know why. If that's the way to design, you designed your office, your work, that's good. No chash of yichud. The men are outside and women are inside. However, anoshim mibefnim, v'noshim mibachutz, choshishin mishum yichud. If men are inside and women are outside, we're concerned because of yichud. Let's see what Rashi is telling us. Skip one Rashi. V'noshim b'pnimi ein choshishin mishum yichud. Says Rashi. You have Rashi. V'noshim b'pnimi. Rashi is a few lines above where we are in the Gemara. V'noshim b'pnimi. There is no concern of yichud if women are in the inner room. Why? Shachitzonim en lem derech lifnim, which means people from the outside, and reception is not a good example because receptionists may go in. Let's say the people in the outside office, that's a fault with my example. They have no reason whatsoever to go to the inner one. They're separate offices. One is a lawyer, one is an accountant, okay? So I should have explained that. The people in the inner office, their way to get out when they go home or go to buy tea or coffee or cigarettes is through the outer office. The people in the outer office have no reason to go to the inner office. That's a lawyer, that's a doctor, two separate offices. In other words, when a guy or girl from the outside office goes to the inner office, what are you doing here? You have to have a reason to be here, right? It's not naturally. I'm not on my way anywhere to go in. I'm on my way from the inner to the outer. Let's continue Rashi. I'm continuing and I'm repeating Rashi. Shachitzonim en lem derech lifnim. The chitzonim have no reason to go inside. And therefore, we are concerned of people who are funny people. And they want to do averos. Not funny, natural. They want to do averos. Right? There's no concern of one man with two women. It's also for one man with two women. But if women are in the inner office, the men who are in the outside office, they wouldn't go into the women's office because they have no excuse of being there. They can't fake as if, what are you doing in the women's office? You're working in the lawyer's office, which is all men, and they're working in the accountant's office, which is all women. What are you entering here for? And therefore, if you do enter, you'll feel funny, and people will suspect you're going there because you have something to do with a nice secretary over there, lo leinu. Aval apnimim. On the other hand, the inner people, meaning the women, yesh lem derech lachutz. The women have a reason to go outside. Why? They're going out on the way home, on the way to pick the kids from Gan, on the way in and out. That's the only access to the outside world. Hilkach, therefore, anoshim b'fnim, b'noshim b'chutz, Men, oh, it's a very, very cool excuse for the men. If you have men inside and women on the outside, the man may go out. He has his eyes on some women there, and he would say, "What am I doing here? I'm on my way out. I'm on my way out for my lunch break, for my tea break, to go buy some cigarettes or whatever, or go pick my kid." And really, he has too many cute excuses to be on his way out. On his way out, he'll try to do something else on his way out. He'll be in a situation of one man with a few women. Osir. That's osir. And that's why the way to do it is the other way around. If the women are inside and the men are outside, no problem. Because it's a one-way street. The women to go to the men's section when they go out, why not? You have one woman with 10 men. She's on her way out. We said it's okay, right? One woman. They're all kosher men. They're all with kippot. Yeah. So the woman who goes out, no problem. She's on her way out. Even if she wants to have yichud, no problem with yichud. Masha'en can, if it's the other way around, if the men are in the inside because they have a very silly but good excuse to go out, yeah, because that's the way out, you have a situation of a man sitting there on his way out, supposedly, with the women, and that's also one man with a few women. That's the way. That's one way. Now let's confuse you. As opposed to Rav Kahana, the Brisa said just the other way around. A Brisa just turned it around and said that it's the other way around. Rashi urgently says Rashi, Ipcha. Anoshim b'chutz, v'noshim b'fnim chosheshin. Just the other way around. If men are outside and women are inside, then we are concerned. Why are we concerned? Again, why should the man go in? He has nothing to look for there. He's not on his way anywhere. He's not on his way to the outside world, and he has toilet in his own office. What's he going to the inner office for? Now we have a different psychological approach. Look at Rashi. Ipcha. We're concerned men outside, women inside. We are concerned. Anybody wants to go in when the one man, M-A-N, when one man goes in, sneaks in, no other men are there. Get it? No other men. There's one guy with funny ideas and everybody else are okay. So that one man with the funny ideas, his friends won't notice that he went in, right? Because no other man is there, because nobody's going into the women's section because there's nothing to look for there. But anoshim b'fnim v'noshim b'chutz. Now, if the men are inside and the women are outside, ein choshishin shema tikonesi lefnim. Now, let's say the men are inside, the women are in the outer office, there's no concern that she should go in for, I don't know why, actually. I don't know why. But the main thing, v'im tikonesi lefnim lo ichpatlan. Let's say a woman goes the wrong direction from the outer office to the inner office. So what? One woman with a few men is okay. Now, and on the other hand, now, if one man goes out to the women, ein ze yichud. Now back to the men. If one of the men who are inside are going outside to the women, that's not yichud. Why not? Men with women is yichud. No. Let's summarize. I'll explain everything. When the man is scared to go out and be misyached with the women, even though men from the inside and women are on the outside, there's a concern. Let's say one man wants to start, playing around with being misyached with the women. What's the problem? He's scared of that, although it's osur, but he's scared of that. He won't do that because another man will meet him on his way out of the office. Because this is a thoroughfare where other men from an inner office are going out, any man can surprise you. Because my colleague men from the inner office may go out on their way to buy sandwich or to take the kids from Gan or to repair the car or to buy paper for the boss. Yeah, they'll go out. So I'm scared to be there alone. It's not called Yichud. Any given moment, other men from the inner office may surprise me. Let's say the man who's with the women, and that is, therefore, this is allowed, and the other way is not allowed. Yeah, if the men are on the outside and women inside, the one who really wants to play games would go into the women and no other men would disturb him. We assume all other men are kosher and they have nothing to look for there, and therefore he'd be secluded with the women. So now we have two different versions, and therefore Omar Abaye, the conclusion is, says Abaye, we're behind time. Omar Abaye, hashta domar Rav Kana hachi. Now the Rav Kana said this way, Betana Mesnisa Ipcha, and the Mishnah says the other way around, Anan Abid lechumra. Now we should be machmir both ways. Wow. Now we have to be machmir, and you're not allowed to have a situation in which, again, I don't know halacha lemaisa. I regret not looking at the halacha yesterday, but lemaisa, what sounds like over here, when you have a group of men and a group of women, and it's too easy to have this free transportation between the traffic between the two areas, that's not allowed. Of course, you have to understand what does that mean. Like you're not allowed to have a separate chasana, men here, women are there, that's allowed. Maybe the Isser is to have two places with only one way out to the outside world. Whatever the Isser is, I'm going to lock up the halacha today, and I'll let you know. But here we see a chumrah, group of men, group of women, where they can access each other too easily is a problem, even when we talk about a group. Why? Because we can have a situation of one man and two women, and that's a problem. Okay, to be continued exactly how that works la halacha, but this is what we see, and now we're going to see more in the same. 1 second. Abaye, how would they avoid such a situation of men sneaking into the women too easily, which is the chash, right? The men would go in. Again, let's revise. Either the men are outside, he would sneak in and no men would disturb him, or the other way around. Or the men are inside, the women are outside, and the men would start, schmoozing and mimisyachad with the women, while he has an excuse. What are you doing here? Says one of the women. I'm on my way out. So what do you want? I'm dawdling a bit, yeah? So because of that, we say, make sure that there's no taruvis between men and women, as we're going to explain tomorrow on Sunday, the halacha. Look how the Amoraim tried to avoid such situations. Abaye Dyer Gulfi. Dyer means he created a line when there were men and women in two separate rooms, or in two groups of men and women, one group of men, one group of women, and we're scared of too much traffic between them. Abaye would place gulfi, which were jars or jugs, yeah. And if anybody crosses, boom, he would step on a jug, and everybody would hear. And everybody, what's this? Boom! What's this big something broke? That guy is trying to cross the mechitza. Okay. So he would feel ashamed and would stay where he's supposed to stay with the men. Rave Dayer Kona. Rave would place a line of konim, of Rashi says, like reeds, that whoever crosses steps on the reeds, you can hear it. Hear the crackling of the reeds. So then people know somebody's stepping in. The Kevin shops, right? Many shops, they have like a bell. As you come in, they know somebody came in, right? So there was some kind of recognition, vocal recognition, that somebody is crossing the mechitza. So people would feel, if I want to cross the mechitza between, I'm a man wanting to go to the women, which would be Yichud, then I know that people would hear that. Omar Avin said, Sak b'deshata rigla. The wound of the year, the soft spot, the Achilles heel of the year is the rigla, meaning the Yom Tov. Yom Tov is sadly can turn to be the worst time of the year. What? Yom Tov so inspirational, davening, learning, but Lamaisa Yom Tov people have a lot of free time. Back then, people had no vacation. Your vacation was Chol HaMoed. Chol HaMoed, it says in halacha in many different versions, you go to the park and you go to the whatever, to the concert, and you have nice time, or even you go to a Shiur Torah. Some Rishonim say go to a Torah class, and there are men and women, and they talk. The kids are, when you go out to the parks and to the places, the picnic and to the barbecue, there is too much interaction between boys and girls, men and women, and that's a touchy point, and that's a problem. That's why Bahab, Shloima, the Talmid Chacham, Bahab, the main reason why there's a tiny Bahab, base, many people have the minute to fast Monday, Thursday, Monday after Yom Tov. Now, right after Yom Tov, but Cheshvan, why? Because on Yom Tov, many times it's Simchas Beis HaShoeva, many times in some places are not such kosher places. Yeah, you have to make sure boys are here, girls are there, and if they mix too much, it's a problem. Continue. Yeah, you've been waiting for a long time. Thank you for your patience. Yes. Thank you for your comment, Alan. We are talking about an office in which the outside section of, let's say, the women is not, there's no big wide door that's open to the outside world and people can see inside, because then there's no issue of Yichud. We're talking about it's a closed door. When I meant it's open to the world, I meant that's the exit, that's the way out. Could be it's out to the corridor, could be it's out to whatever. Yeah. It's just a place where some people are on the way out, which according to one girsa is a bad thing. Because a man can say, hey, I'm just on my way out. Why are you looking at me like that, you chnyokisha? And he's having yichud. Meanwhile, he's drinking his coffee with the other women on his way out, right? The other opinion says that it's actually an advantage because the man will be scared to be with the women in the outside office because he knows that other men from his inner office, they will be kosher men, yes, on the way out. And they'll see him like, what are you doing here? And there will be no situation of yichud. Because there are both ways, chumra kula, we're machmir both ways. But you're right what you said, there is no big door open that everyone can see. There's a closed door, which sometimes people open it. Yeah, it's not open to shusabim. Yeah, thank you. Okay, 2 more minutes to start the story. Here comes all the unbelievable stories. Those stories tell us that you can never rely on your Yetzer HaTov and ignore your Yetzer Hara. People cannot say, oh, I'm old, I'm kosher, or some people say, I've been exposed to everything, nothing's going to affect me. These are all, pieces of bad advice of the Yetzer Hara. We're going to see at least 3 stories of Amoraim, Heilige Tanoim and Amoraim, who almost sinned with women. Yeah, they were stopped in the last second. We don't have much time. We'll just start a little bit. Hanach Shvuyoso, there were women captives. Oh, let them all be free right now. Bring them home now. Hanach Shvuyoso, yeah, there were female captives. They were freed. They were liberated, and they brought them to Nardo, to the town of Nardo. It's a frum place, a yeshiva of Nardo in Bovel, kosher place. Askina leberav Amram Chasida. Rav Amram was called a chosid. Chosid means it was a very big tzaddik, and they brought him to his house. Why to his house? Because he was in charge of liberating them. Rav Amram, he was the one who was dealing with the Hamas. Rav Amram was the one who was, he was in charge. They brought those female captives, the shvuyos, to his house because he was a custodian. He was in charge of them. And of course, he did it very kosher. The girls were upstairs in the aliyah, in the attic. And what did he do? The same trick as Rav Yosef. He was downstairs. They were upstairs. Hey, what about the ladder? No problem. Ashkulu darga mikamayu. Very good. So now they, with the command of Rav Amram, I'm going to do it kosher. He separated himself from them by doing what? Asking people to remove the ladder from the upstairs, downstairs. He's downstairs. The women are upstairs. No contact, no communication, no traffic. They have the toilet upstairs. They have the food upstairs. And he has his stuff downstairs, and it's all kosher. Until one moment, one of the girls was passing upstairs, was walking upstairs in the attic, and as you call it, a skylight. Yeah, there's like a window. Yeah, like a window. There's like an opening, between the upper floor and the inner floor, and you can see through. Yeah, Nofal Nehoira Beipuma, right? Light from her face, she was so beautiful. Light from her face was shining through, that opening between the upstairs. He saw the shining of her face, whatever that is. You know what he tried to do? Shakler of Amam ledarga de lohabi chilin be'asar lemidle daile lechude. You know what he did? That letter wasn't a cutesy little letter you get from a gemach. You know what letter that was? It was a heavy set of stairs which 10 people can't take together. And he alone took that. His Yetzor was burning in him like crazy. Somebody got supernatural powers of the Yetzer Hara. And he schlepped himself, one big Talmid Chacham of Amam Chasida. He took that letter, he took it, and he schlepped it to go upstairs in order to go up and sin. And then, you can't go, now you can't sleep at night. The Shiur will continue with the story on Sunday, Mirza Hashem. Atzlachu Bracha, I'm asking you again. Thank you to people who watch us on Torah Anytime on YouTube. Please, 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 please be in touch with Ellen about the siyum. Let him know if you're coming or not. Let me know. And please pay Ellen whatever the payment arrangements are. Atzlachu v'rocha. Thank you so, so much. L'chol ha'mishtatfim. And it's next Thursday lunch. People are invited to come and share the simcha with us.